Hey there, Hushpup here, back with another Genshin Impact gameplay video. You know what, this is a strange one. Theatre Mechanicus ended last week and I was thinking about just recording and releasing the final stages one at a time like my other videos, but since the stages started to repeat again, only with a slight layout reversal, I thought it wouldn't be that fun. So I recorded the last set of maps and me claiming the rewards, and was about to make one final send-off video combining them all, but then the Phantom Flow event was also coming to an end. So instead I thought, you know what, let's just make one event ending video, combine the two, and so here we are. First off, let's just get the reward claiming out of the way for Theatre Mechanicus, loads of lovely primos and other assorted rewards. Now, as for the game mode itself, I struggled a lot with this one at the start. It was very difficult for me to adjust to the new sticks mechanic instead of having permanent upgrades. It made strategizing different compared to the last event. However, about midway through, I managed to find my way and actually get to grips with how the sticks mechanics work. And you know what? I really much enjoyed it in the end. And with that, I was able to clear pretty much every level without any losses. Although for a few of them I did have to replay them to try out different strategies, as the ones that I picked didn't work the first time. Although I was able to still beat them, just with a few losses along the way. Just gonna summarise some key moments of me going through the final day of the event. So we actually went and retried level 5 with a new strategy, since we learned how to do things a bit better. Although that still didn't save it, the big giant things just waltzed on through all the way to the end. Thinking about it now, actually what I should have done is just stacked all the towers at the back. And later on when we replay this map later, you might see that happen. What was annoying as well, as I didn't want to give up, I actually went and tried an online guide for level 5 as well. And even copying their strategy one for one did not work. Maybe it's very RNG dependent, as I don't think I got enough of the good stick upgrades that time. Anyway, back to the rest of the levels. We did 7 in the last video, so here's 8. Since this map blocks some towers that I actually was thinking of using, we decided to go with just pure Electro and zap our way to victory. We plugged both sides with a bunch of Electro towers, and then placed Charity towers in between, which allowed us to gain loads of currency to buy a whole boatload of sticks, which gave us a tremendous amount of firepower, as well as when we upgraded the Charity nodes we were able to add the slowdown effect to them, which also helped a whole bunch. This strategy worked out perfectly, as focusing only on one tower meant we could heavily stack the upgrades. It was amazing to watch this one. They didn't even stand a chance with all the zap firepower, although I did have to help out for a few waves. All in all though, a success. With our awesome zap, I did level 9 with the same plan. It did not go so well, and we let 15 through. We might come back to that one later. Moving swiftly on to level 10, the final level in the Theatre Mechanicus event. This one took away our Electro funds, so we decided to put a bunch of towers at the back. Was thinking about going Cryo and Hydro, but with Frostarm Laurel coming, we needed some raw damage, so Pyro it is. Still decided to place Cryo Towers too, for the melt reaction, and because you can upgrade them to slow down enemies still. Since Pyro works well in clumps due to AoE damage, everything was stuffed right at the back. Since this was the last level, I wanted to try a bunch of other towers to see how useful they were, like the knockback one. Never used this one before. And it was the perfect opportunity to also place one of those damage buff towers too. We only put one, so we could put the Charity tower on the other side, as we really do need that money. One problem though was it took so long for the enemies to walk from the beginning to the end, especially in the first few waves. You just get slow hillachurls, so I spent a lot of time just AFK waiting for them to get to the towers. That was boring. I was even helping push them along to get there faster. Wave 2 had some runners, and without upgrades a few actually did get through sadly, but we could buy that stick that undid the damage. Most waves of this strategy worked fine, but lacking early upgrades did mean that waves 2 and 3 had runners that slipped by, which unfortunately meant we also couldn't pay our way to take off that damage as we already got one of those sticks. However, after that, getting enough upgrades, nothing else slipped by again, and we actually managed to complete it. But it wasn't a perfect clear, as we had a few that slipped by on wave 3. We didn't record it, but we did try this again later. We replaced the knockback towers with Charity ones, making sure to get that slowdown upgrade, and then we replaced that one other Charity tower we put with another damage buffing one. This went so much better, as in the beginning it was just those runners that got through. They weren't really strong enemies. We also tried to get some fire rate buffs for some of the towers too, as that helped a lot. Although we did record retrying level 9 again. This time we went with all Hydro, which I didn't think would work, but it was so effective. Especially with the bubble upgrade, as it just trapped so many enemies. It was great. We just completely flooded the map. It was a lot of fun watching them go to work. And with that we managed to complete level 9 without any losses. Which means we've beaten Theatre Mechanicus. All the levels have been done with varying degrees of success. But it's not over, as we can't clear the shop until level 10, and we are level 9 currently, so it's time to farm some of the stages out for experience. For this I decided to pick level 8 as it was very easy to set up the towers and just AFK, just need to spam electro towers. I think we had to do this around 3 times, but eventually we got enough experience and we could clear the shop. Now for the other event, Phantom Flow. Each stage had various fun mechanics from previous events, like the crystals to stand near that gave buffs, the electro crystal you charge up to explode, and other things too. Some of these challenges were over extremely quickly. We didn't even get to interact with the stage mechanics very much before the enemies evaporated. Crystal buffs were overpowered as usual, fast elemental burst recharge time, so I could just spam those away all day long. The charging up crystal one was the same as the other events. Spam electro character abilities at it, which will charge the crystal up, and it will just destroy everything on the screen. Loads of fun. The last two were interesting. First up we had the constant wave of ruin guards, with the special stage buff which allowed us to instantly knock them down if we hit their weak spot. Then, as another mechanic, after their health got below a certain threshold, they would get hit by another stage mechanic which dealt heavy damage to them. Lastly we fought 2 Abyss Order enemies. Beaten both of these before, Ganyu is very good against them. Just takes a little while as they have a lot of health. First one is Hydro, so it gets frozen a lot by Ganyu, and the last one is Electro, which Cryo is also good against. So all in all, very easy. And that's it for the challenges. We can race through and claim all the lovely rewards. So many Primo Gems, which will hopefully be very useful for pulling on Baal whenever we decide to do that in the future. And of course we can't forget the extra hard difficulty mode, the Okaden challenges. I tried all of them with varying degrees of success. 2 of them I didn't actually beat because it was just really late in the evening. I was like, you know what, I could beat this, but I don't need to because it's only 3 crystals. We will get to those stories later. First up was Okaden Challenge 2. We did Challenge 1 in the Phantom Flow video we did before. This one had the Thunder Sphere mechanic, so you could use them to leap into the air and plunge down to the ground. If you did this 3 times, you would get 1,000 attack up for 30 seconds, which was very good. So all we had to do is just fight the enemies, and whenever we could jump up, we'd go up. Very easy. Okaden Challenge 3 had this plasma ring all the way around the arena, and if enemies were inside it, they would be hit by lightning. It could also happen to you too if you were unlucky. You would also unleash shockwaves when you hit enemies with charged attacks, which is quite fun as you could just send them flying. I think they designed this so you would use this ability to knock them into the electric plasma field. Again though, with our characters this one wasn't that tricky and we managed to beat it first try. Okaden Challenge 4 had those Nimbus gems again, where if you stood in range of all 3 of them, you would get a load of buffs. Being in range of 1 of course gives you buffs too, but you want to be in all 3 if possible. And with that, you had extra energy recharge, which was amazing. It meant we could just spam elemental bursts all over the place. I mean, this was the same as before of course, but the difficulty with this one is that after you defeated an opponent, it would strike that position with lightning, so you had to keep moving around. This one was actually a bit more tricky, and we unfortunately did die on our first attempt. Which with these Okaden challenges, if you die, that's it, you lose. Trying again a second time though, we managed to beat it without any problems. Now for the 5th Okaden challenge, this one had the Ruin Guard with the exposed weak spot, but on Okaden mode, the actual buff you'd get by being able to instantly take it down by hitting the weak spot is gone. Aside from that though, nothing else changed, although the final enemy is one of those like massive ones you find in Dragonspine. This one is just a big DPS check as they have so much health and you gotta beat 5 of them as well. We didn't actually manage to do this the first time. I was trying to just do the Ganyu thing. I mean, she's great at bringing them down because she's an archer character, but there just wasn't enough burst damage or damage that's done in a very short window. We needed much more. So we changed our party for this one, so that we could actually beat them before the time ran out. We decided to go with Klee, Fischl, Zhongli and Bennett instead of our cryo comp from before. This meant that we could deal a lot of damage in a shorter space of time, as we can use Bennett's elemental burst to gain damage up for everyone, and then spam everyone else's bursts and skills. This actually worked out really well. Klee did so much damage and was instrumental in taking down the last guy very quickly. Now for the 6th challenge, Wave Breaker. This Okaden challenge had you fighting 2 of those Electro Lorachel things, which had so much health. Oh, that was such a pain. This one had the cool mechanic where you could charge up the crystal and it would explode, but even that wasn't enough. Unfortunately as well with this, we did fail it quite a few times. We tried this one for ages, and We nearly beat it too, but then at the last second, the thing jumped in the air, and it just crushed, I think, Zhongli, and he died. And that was it, the run was over. But we nearly did it, and we didn't do anywhere near as good again. And that was very disappointing, especially because we have so many good cryo characters as well. And we'll go up against electro enemies, and it should have been fine. But no, we just didn't have enough DPS to be able to take them down in time. And yeah, that was sad. I probably could have done it if I kept trying, but it was just 4 crystals. It's just not worth it. My sense of pride and accomplishment was crushed. We also tried the final one. You fought 2 of the Abyss guys at once instead of going at them one at a time, but we just didn't have enough damage to take them both down in time. Although we actually got close, you know, the health bars got near the end. They went into their final phases, but yeah, we just couldn't kill them in time. But that's okay. These challenges are meant to be really hard, and it's good that they have them. They're just fun to do. But after a while, because there's no rewards involved, there's no point spending hours and hours doing them. So that's it. That was the 2 events. It was Theatre Mechanicus, probably the better of the 2. Phantom Flow was a lot of fun going through it. The regular mode was very easy. The Okaden mode was challenging and enjoyable and also frustrating. But that's what you want out of those things. So yes, that's going to be it from me. Those were the events. And 2.1 is here, which means more story quests and other events and content coming out soon, which will be a lot of fun. I don't think I'll be covering every single event in detail when it comes up, or even some at all, as some of them are just not that great to make videos on. It depends on the event, but I'll make a proper update video on that later as there's more things to talk about as well. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.